Okay, exercises 6 through 10. I'll go through those pretty quickly, and this will be the last video for this lesson. If I take this 117, I could make vertical angles by sliding this right across here. I could add an auxiliary line. Remember, auxiliary lines are lines we add into pictures to help us along the way, as long as it is parallel. Okay, parallel to those two lines. It has a lot of use. So I can take this and make a corresponding angle down here. So I can either go vertical angle across, or I can go corresponding down. Seeing as I'm trying to get to this eye, I'm going to use the corresponding and come down here. So I use corresponding to get that 117 down to here. The 129, I can also do vertical angle with the 129, or I can do corresponding with the 129. Again, the 129 is corresponding, helps me get closer to this eye, so that's the one I'm going to use there. Okay, so that's also corresponding. So 129 was corresponding to this 129, that means they're the same measure, and the 117 is corresponding to this one, they're the same measure. Then we know if we go the whole way around here, we should get 360. So angles around a point, point sum to 360 is the last idea we're going to use. So angles around a point sum to 360. So if I take the 117 and the 129 and I add them together, so 9 plus 7 is 16, carry the 1, 2 plus 2 is 4, and 1 plus 1 is 2. That makes these two angles together 246, and if it's 360 the whole way around, I can take the 360 and subtract off the 246. So borrow 1 from the 6 and make it into a 5. 10 minus 6 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, and I get angle I, the measure of angle I, equal to 114 degrees. Okay, exercise 7. So we've got some parallel lines in this one, and we've got our transversals. So let's look at the first transversal here. So let me draw that one on here in a different color. So if I'm looking at this transversal right here with my parallel lines, so let me scoot this one out here and scoot this one up. It's fine where it is. So I've got opposite or alternate interior angles. Interior angles. So alternate interior angles, so this 46 right down here would be an alternate interior to this one up here. We go to the opposite side of the transversal and we stay between the parallel lines. So this is 46 degrees right up here. Okay, so 46 and 46. So the measure of angle M, Yep, the measure of angle M is 46 degrees. Okay, and then I can use this 92, so let's grab another color here. So I'll grab some green. Blue, I like blue. Okay, so there's my other transversal, and if I grab my marker, this 92, if I go alternate interiors, go across the line, and head over here, would be the same as J. So the measure of angle J is equal to 92 degrees because it is an alternate interior angle. Okay, so that's 92 degrees here. And then the last idea is this right here is a straight line, and so this part right here has to be 180 degrees. because consecutive adjacent angles on a line sum to 180. So we have that reason there for the green. That means it's 92, the 92 plus the 46 plus the k has to be equal to 180. Right? All three of those angles added together gives you 180. So if I add these two together, so 92 plus 46 would give me 2 plus 6 is 8, and 9 plus 4 is 13. And then if you take the 180 and subtract the 138 from it, right, so we're subtracting the 138 from both sides, however you want to think about it, or wherever you want to think about it. That would give you k by itself, so we get the measure of angle k is equal to, and borrow 1 from the 8, make it a 7, so 10 minus 8 is 2. This is now a 7 minus 3 is 4, and you get 42 degrees for angle k right here. So this is 42 degrees. Okay, so 46, 42, and 92. Okay, our next picture. This one needs another auxiliary line. Again, you should be pausing these and trying to do these on your own before you just jump in here and watch me do them. So if I put in my auxiliary line right there, then if I have 37 degrees up here and I go alternate interior, that would put me right down here. And if I have 44 degrees down here, my alternate interior would put me right up there. So this is alternate interior angles. That's what I'm using. And then we're looking for this angle N, and this angle N is this one. And if you look carefully, it's actually a vertical angle. So angle N is the same thing as these two added together. So the measure of angle N is going to be equal to this 37 plus that 44. And that's our angle addition postulate. So the measure of angle N is going to be equal to 7 plus 4 is 1, carry the 1, 4 plus 4 is 8, so that's 81 degrees. And that is my angle addition postulate. It says that if you add the two small pieces, you get the big piece. Okay, this one gets a little bit more complicated, so let's put in some more colors here. So if I have this piece here, so that line would be parallel to this line because they both have one arrow on them. And so then I can use corresponding angles. And if I take that 94, it's right here. So this 94, and I can correspond it right to there. So that corresponding angle goes right into where Q is. So the measure of angle Q has to be equal to 94 degrees because it is a corresponding angle. Then I can do something similar with that 68. Put that 68 over here and shrink it up some. Okay, there's 68. And the 68, if I look at that one as a blue lines, so this line here is parallel to this one over here. So now if I'm looking at those two parallel lines, I can make that one blue to match my blue lines. So then its corresponding angle, if I slide it right over, goes to here. So that's 68 degrees. And so then I've got, that's not one of our letters, so I just need it there. So I've got this angle 94, this P, and the 68. And if you look, this forms a line. So from here all the way around to there, they should all add up to 180 degrees. So we say that we have consecutive, one after another, adjacent. That means they're all sharing sides, angles on a line. So all three of these angles added together form this line right across the top. And they should sum to 180 because we know there's 180 degrees halfway around our circle or on a line. So if I take the 94, add it to the P, and add that to the 68, I should get 180 degrees. So then you would add your like terms, so add the 94 and the 68. So 4 plus 8 is 2, carry the 1. That would be 10, plus 6 is 16, plus P is equal to 180. Subtract the 162 from both sides. And P is going to be equal to, we'll borrow 1 from the 7 and make that a 10. So that's an 8 and an 18 degrees. So angle P up here is 18 degrees. And the last example problem. So here's another one. It's got a point. If it's got a point, we add an auxiliary line. And we can just make it black. The auxiliary line comes straight through there. Okay, the auxiliary line would be parallel to the top line and the bottom line. It's right here in the middle. And now we need to figure out what this R is up here. So we're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. So if this is 130, so we've got 130 right there. Its alternate interior would be put it across and slide it up to this other parallel line. Lines have to be parallel for this to work. So we're going to use alternate interior. Okay, so we got the 130 being the alternate interior angles here. And then you've got 96, and what to do with that. So we're trying to get from this 96 somehow up to here. And I think we have another set. Let's just draw this in here for you. We've got this line. What can we do with that 96? Now, I think that 96 has to be put on hold for a second. So let's see if we can do something more with this 130. We already have this line right here, right? Our auxiliary line drawn, which, if it was drawn right, it would be a straight line. So straight lines are 180, and we have this 130 here. So we could get to this piece right here. Right? So let me just key you in on where I'm looking here and get rid of this one. Right, so if we've got this straight line here and this is 130, we can find this piece over here. Remember, this whole angle, this whole piece is 96 degrees, not this little piece. So if I take 130, I have a linear pair there. And so if this is 130, if I take one, oops, I don't want to do that, I want to do that. If I take 180 and subtract the 130, I would get 50. So that means from here to there would be 50 degrees. And if the whole thing from here to there is 96 degrees, then I can find this piece up here because of my angle addition postulate. So the angle addition postulate says that if this is 96, these two little pieces have to add together to get me that 96. So I can take the 96, subtract off the 50, and get 46, and that makes this little piece right here 46. So at that point, now that I've got to there, I can use this other transversal that I had before, draw it back in here, and you should be able to see that if this is 46, if I go alternate interiors again, that this has to be 46. So I worked my way through my picture. So the measure of angle R is going to be equal to 46 degrees. So I used alternate interior angles to move this 130 up to here. Then I used linear pair to get this to be 50. Then I used the angle addition postulate to get this to be 46. And then I used alternate interior angles again to get my 46 up there.